Hey folks, gotta do some work on my snowblower. Inside down here where your wheels are that make your tires turn and all that, and your auger work, I believe I got a loose friction plate, and that's this thing right here. I'll show you when I open it up from the bottom where this goes, but I believe this bolt, its bearing is gone in this one. There's quite a rattle. So we got to take off this cover here, and then from the back we're going to lift it up, and I got to remove this cover here to work on it. That off. I just got to pull it out and out. There. You can see here that there's this wheel is what I think is rattling, and then there's this one that goes onto the auger. This one controls your tires and your reverse and your forward, and this one controls your auger. When you work your auger, you'll see that comes up, tightens the belt, and then your auger will start spinning and spitting out your snow. This one works off of this, and I'll show you when I get underneath how it works, and that controls your speed forward and backwards. So now we got to flip it up. This is a Yardworks machine, but they were all made by MTD, so many of them are just go by a different brand. You know, they could be from Sears or Canadian Tire here in Canada, and but most of them are made by the same company. All right, we got those bolts out, and we slide this cover out from the top, and it pops out the bottom. So now you can see what I'm working with here. Let me show you. So when I was telling you, this is the friction plate, this is your friction wheel. And what happens is when you pull the lever, it pulls this up, makes contact with this, and as this spins, it makes your drivetrain work. You can see that. This pops up and engages. You see now it's rubbing against it. I think the bearing is gone in this plate, so we're going to change that out. Got to move this belt off so I can get at it, and then I believe there's that bolt's underneath here. If I can get it. There, we got that going off. There. Now from the bottom I should be able to get it. And there, that's off. Just put it up there. Now, I believe I got to take the tension off that spring, and probably this spring, as you can see. Got to take the tension off this spring and this spring. And I think this will somewhat come up, and then I can get that bolt underneath there. Oh, I gotta remove all this because that's why it's hitting that. Okay, we gotta take that off. Okay, 14 mil. Need something to hold this, that'll work. 21 mil. There, she released. We remove this bolt. There's a bolt, a washer, and a bearing on this side. Got the bolt off. Now I should be able to slide this over. And there we are. The washer just came off, and there's a bearing sitting there. Now I can just kind of slide this out of the way. There, you see, now I can get at this. Well, folks, I just figured out what was going on. I figured this was rattling. I thought the bearing was gone. I take it apart, and there's this bolt. I didn't even notice it until just now. It was sitting right just down in here. And that's what's missing. There's no bolt holding it in place. I have to get the flashlight in here so you can see. You see right there? There's no nut on it. It came off. That's why it's been rattling. All right, we're going to take this one out, have a look, and see how it is. I had it part way out there. Let's have a look. Well, that bearing is not flowing very freely. Yep, she's rough. So it's good I bought the other one. This might have lasted for a little bit, but you can see it binds. Let's compare it to the new one. So you can see that has, like, it actually is hard to turn. This one, night and day. So we're going to put that back in, put it all back together. And I'm going to put some Loctite on this nut and bolt it back in. And that's taking a 15/16. And we'll put her back together, and I think we're good to go. So when I said I saw the nut roughly here, I bet you it was sitting up somewhere. When I first opened this up, I didn't notice it. But I probably, when I tilted it back up and down to take the belt off, kind of wearing that belt down pretty rough. I must have loosened it up. Maybe it was sitting up in here, back here somewhere, and it fell down into here. But yeah, that's where that nut goes. All right, let's get this new one put in. There's that flat piece that has to sit on that flat piece right there. So when I put it in, and then I'll put some Loctite on the nut when we crank her down. Get down here on with the flashlight. There we are. Okay, I'm going to put some Loctite on this nut. A little too much, but oh well. There, I got it started. So I got that nut on there. I just got to tighten it up. See, there it turns freely. This side. Put that on here. It's on. Now you got to line this up. There's a pin right here to this, and they're putting it together. All right, got that back in there. The belt's on. That's all back together. Put the bearing on. Get my fat fingers in here. Get the washer on, just to show you. So there's the bearing in there. Get the washer on. Get the 14 mil nut started. Come on. There we go. Tighten that down. And there we are. So we'll put the spring back on here, put the belt, lift it back down, put the belt on, and put this cover back on, and then we'll be able to rock and roll again. Put this spring on here. That doesn't, oh, okay, there we are. There we are. There we are. Down here, I gotta jam it in. There we are. Put that bolt back in. That's tight. And there we are. No more rattle. I don't hear anything. She looks good and she sounds good. Alrighty, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.